welcome everybody to something that is very new here on World Championship Wreckage. Something that might surprise you, something that, honestly, it kind of surprises me at times, every time I think about it. But you've got two people here that if you watch us pretty regularly, you know us pretty well. But now we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about something we love other than wrestling. And that's musicals.
Love me a good fucking musical, DadHat.
Yes, I do. Me too. A lot of people know for me, like, I have a theater degree. Like, I've been doing theater. Good Lord. I've been doing theater almost half my life, which is crazy to me. So
He's old.
Yeah.
He's got kids and shit.
Yeah. Hence the name, The funny thing is, neither of my kids have, well, especially not the youngest one, but even my oldest one, he's never seen me in a show. So that'll happen eventually. But, yeah, so for me, like, I love me a musical. But I will say I have been in more straight plays than I have musicals. But I'm curious, Jax, for you, before we get into like the topic that we're talking about today in our first musical, what got you into musicals? Where did you find this love of musicals?
I've always had a love for music.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I was Nicole and me were dating.
Mm-hmm. And
she had, when we moved in together, she had a box of movies, and we didn't have cable or anything. We were young. I'm like 18, 19 young.
Okay.
So, and one of them was Rent. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this? So let's check it out. And I got hooked. Like almost immediately. I was like, okay. They're good. I was like, wait, that's the dude from School of Rock. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Wait, that's the dude from Dazed and Confused. That's what's her name. Like I started noticing the characters, but it was a bonus DVD.
Yeah.
And it had the documentary No Day But for Today. And I watched it, and the story of Jonathan Larson kind of caught me.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on, I realized, I was like, all right. It was a closet thing for years. Like I didn't tell anyone. But I mean, we bought tickets to a movie just so people wouldn't know I went and saw Rent when they did the theatrical release of their last Broadway. Like,
yeah,
it was like, but no, there's a couple people that knew, but not a lot.
Yeah. Before I go to my next question, have you ever seen Tick, Tick, Boom?
Yes.
Okay.
I have seen that. I've seen the movie, but I've also seen bootleg
stage
cams of the thing.
Okay.
Funny enough, the attorney, the district attorney in Law and Order, I forgot his name, but he's in Law and Order SVU. Played in Tick, Tick, Boom.
I love Tick, Tick, Boom. Tick, Tick, Boom. Like, I love Rent. But I don't know. There's times where I'm like, man, I see so much of, like, when I watch Tick, Tick, Boom, you see the stuff that he pulled from that to build.
Like you could hear the No Day But Today song on the piano when he plays it.
Mm-hmm. And like the talking about like dropping the keys down below, like to the.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's a prequel.
It's a prequel to it because once you watch Rent. And you see all these characters, and you go back and you watch the Netflix Tick, Tick, Boom. You see where Angel came from.
Yeah.
You see why he didn't want to take that snooty job and why Mark hates it so much.
Yeah.
Like you can finally go,
yeah,
okay.
You see that the whole process of him writing Rent and everything. Yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen Tick, Tick, Boom, watch Tick, Tick, Boom on Netflix. Andrew Garfield, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my God!
He like should have won the Oscar. Should have won the Oscar. I'm still mad about that. But Tick, Tick, Boom will be another episode. We decided when we decided we were going to do the show. He's already mentioned it. It's what got him into musicals, and it's one of my absolute favorites of all time. We're talking about Rent today, and if you haven't seen Rent, find it.
There's no day but today. You know you like what I just did there.
Plus, you at least know this. Hey, Jax, how much time is there in a year?
521,600 minutes. I love that fucking part. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Rent captivated me. And
Yes.
they like caught my eye, and it was just like, okay, like this all the styles of music and like
it's all over the place.
The setting of New York, and like it was just downright cool.
Yeah, it's so for me. What got me for Rent? I had never seen Rent. To this day I've never technically seen it live, other than the filmed version they did in their last performance on Broadway.
Yes,
And I've watched some of the. You can find it on YouTube. Here, there is the Fox Live version of Rent that they did. But I remember seeing the logo for Rent and being like, I don't know what it is, but just the logo saying Rent, it's got my attention for a simple. But it was grainy, and it literally looked like if you took the stencils, like that's like that's what it. And I don't know why. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know anything. I didn't know the concept. And as with most things, it circles all around a girl for me. When I was in college, I was dating a girl who also loved theater. She wasn't a theater major like I was, but she loved theater and was obsessed with Rent. Was obsessed with it, and the movie had come out, and we had I went to a small college in this little tiny mountain town. Now I'm going to start singing, South Park the musical in my quiet little mountain town. But they had it at like the cheap movie theater, so it was like $3 a person to go see it. And I remember watching it, and I was like, I didn't know it was going to be about something this heavy. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I cried.
Oh yeah, I had no idea. Which is funny because I now think back about when I was running my own theater company, plays that I would pick and everything. I'm very big on liking, whether they're musicals, whether they're straight plays, something that when you leave that theater, you're thinking about it. It's spurring conversation. It's not fluff. And Rent's just that. You talk about it. I mean, if you don't know it, just go watch it right now, and then come back and watch us. It deals with the rise of the AIDS issue. It's set in New York City.
Yeah, Rent, and not only that did it bring a big focus to the AIDS epidemic, it still does to today keep reminding people that AIDS is still a pandemic.
Yeah,
like, there's people all over the world dying from this disease.
Yeah,
and I think when Jonathan Larson wrote the play, all those years, it was amazing. It brought it to the forefront. Mm-hmm. When the movie came out, it reminded people. Rent has always been there as that reminder that there's the AIDS pandemic is still a thing.
Yeah. Because it is such a big ensemble cast, I have to ask you, who's your favorite character in Rent?
Mark.
Just because it's through him. It's kind of his viewpoint through his camera lens.
Mark showed it was okay to be nerdy.
Yeah, it did.
Mark showed that it was okay. Like you could be like passion driven about something and like very inspirational is how I found Mark. And he was one of those guys that was not fighting. He was not fighting for his life day in and day out. Yeah. So I think seeing it through his eyes and seeing it almost as the final days of some of his friends, was like, it's a hard hitting thing.
Yeah, he has that major line that he's the only one to survive, and then Roger pushes right back on him, and he's just like, "Poor baby," like that's what you're worried about. We're fighting. We're trying to literally make it to the next day. Yeah, for me, I've always been a Roger guy. Like I don't know what it is. But see, when I'm looking at a musical or a play, even movies or anything, like I look at it like who would I want to play if I was going to audition for this? Who would I want to be? Like in Rent, really, I'd pick pretty much anybody. But Roger is who I would want to play. Like, I don't nowadays. I know my voice wouldn't be able to sing it, but like back in the day, I'm like I can sing Roger. Like I know I can hit those notes. I don't know, and it was just the cool. He's the bad boy. Like he's given up, but he's trying to figure out how to not give up for his friends, but he really has given up, and love kind of rekindles his life, and then it goes away again, and there's just his story arc and everything throughout the entire show. But I also love Collins. I love so many of the songs that Collins sings.
Dude, I did not know. Let me tell you another little backstory. I did not know when I watched the movie for the first time that the cast was a majority originals.
Yeah. All but two.
Joanne and Mimi. Which, I mean, I don't even know if Joanne went on to become part of the cast.
Yeah, she did it afterwards. Yep.
She did become part of the Rent family on Broadway.
Yep.
But so when I went and watched the documentary afterwards, I was like, because everyone knows Collins from Law and Order.
Oh,
it's no secret. That's like as soon as you see him, even when I saw it, I was like, this dude from Law and Order, fuck, he can sing.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can.
Like, all right, cool. And then you go back and you watch the documentary and you're like, oh fuck. He's always been able to sing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, he was a waiter with Jonathan, and like I always found that cool, and I always find it cool how no matter what iteration of the cast, what ensemble, what era, what generation, whatever you consider it, how every cast member still holds Rent near and dear to their heart.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why so many of them showed up with that video DVD they did of the last night on Broadway. They all showed back up.
Oh, wait, did you see the Fox one?
Oh, okay. So I haven't seen it. I haven't made it all the way through that one. For me, it's the guy Adam Pascal who plays Roger. It was weird. It was like after seeing him in Rent, like you kind of said, how you were with the actor who is in Law and Order who plays Collins. Like I just started realizing, like, dang, you're in this, you're in that, you're in this. And I didn't know it at the time. After seeing the movie Rent, I'm weird. It's also because I've been around music, like chorus and musical theater and that kind of stuff for so long. Like my memory picks up on I'm like, I know that voice or I know that tone. I went back and I had an old Broadway playbill from seeing Aida, the touring show of Aida, and he was freaking in it. I saw it in high school, and I was like, I saw him in that, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, it was years later, and I'm like, I've seen Adam Pascal in a musical.
I popped when I saw him and Mimi in Tick Tick Boom.
Yes.
Well, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. You had to include them. It might be an episode later down the line, but I definitely recommend listening to him in the musical Chess. If you've never heard of Chess, it's great.
I have to check that one out.
It's a very cerebral musical. Like, I mean, because Chess is cerebral. Yeah. What's your favorite song or favorite songs?
Song, yeah, it's plural.
Yeah.
One of them that'll shock people, and if you've never seen the musical, the stage adaptation, the stage performance, is Halloween.
Yes.
Halloween is, and I was so upset when I found out about it and I heard it and they cut it from the movie.
Yeah, it's on the bonus features.
It's on the bonus features. They did film the scene, which was cool, but I was like, man, I really like that song. That and Oh, I'm gonna butcher it because I don't remember the actual name because I want to say it. But when him and Roger are going back and forth, and Roger's leaving.
The one right after Halloween.
Yeah, like those two songs.
Goodbye, Love. It's Goodbye, Love.
Yeah, Goodbye, Love.
Yeah.
And that was good, but the final rendition of Glory.
Yeah.
When he sings it to Mimi, and that I can listen to that in my car like it's a normal song.
Yeah.
Like that's how good that one is. That's a ballad.
Yeah, those two for sure are up there for me. Like I love both of them. I'm a big fan of that. I'd say probably overall my favorite is Another Day, where in the movie Roger's up on the the scaffolding, the fire escape, and everybody else is down below, and he just lays it out there. But if it's that one for me or my top, but probably, and a lot of people, if you've only seen the movie version, one thing, I know they had to do it this way for the movie because it's hard to include everything else. When you watch the stage production, there is a very large ensemble cast that plays so many different characters, and there's this continuation song throughout called Christmas Bells, but then you get to the actual Christmas Bells song, and I love it.
Yeah.
It is, and I hate that it was cut from the movie because it is such a good song for the show. But I get, again, you can't have the choir or the chorus ensembles do everything.
And people are gonna. I can already see the comments. And people going, "You didn't say La Vivo M," because that song you don't have to say it. That is,
to me, it's a little overrated.
I mean,
it's good.
If you've never seen the way they do it on Broadway, if you've only seen the movie, it is so cool how they do it on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the staging, it again, coming from that theater world, being like, knowing how they stage things and how you have to do certain things depending on, like, if you're on a proscenium stage, if you're in the round, like all these different, depending on, it's such a weird, like, I love that part of theater, like, is that staging. So, like, there's so many different ways that even if I was directing, I'm like, doing that with the table and everything and how you could do it and make sure, like, different level. It's just so much fun. It's just fun. Yeah. But you mentioned, like, the set and everything. The set is gorgeous. I mean, the rundown New York, the scaffolding, the metal, the brick, they're all over this. They're everywhere. I mean, they're like Spider-Man and Spider-Woman on these sets. Like they're here on stage. Next thing you know, you blink and they're up there. Like it's.
Yeah, and I also like that's just not with Rent's stage set. I've never seen it live. I've only seen the live DVD and the
movie.
I've seen the movie. I've seen everything they've done. I've seen the live DVD, seen the movie, and I've seen the Fox special.
Yeah,
the Fox special stage is more elaborate.
Yeah,
it's cool, but seeing just a flat stage on how and the way they hit their keys and their marks, and if you look closely, the band isn't in the pit; they're actually hidden in the scaffolding throughout the whole thing. And the way any Broadway production from the I've never been to any Broadway production on Broadway, and I mean that's a goal of mine. But the way that they change the whole atmosphere.
Yeah,
of the inside and the elaborates and everything. Rent was just like relatable. Like it didn't need it. It's never been elaborate.
Yeah. It's such a, like, when I was putting my little one to bed, I was watching the Fox one because I knew we were going to be recording, and I'm like, hey, let me just get a quick refresher on this. And my wife walks down and she's like, you're watching Rent? And I'm like, yes, I am. She's like, wow. She's like, I haven't thought about that musical in a long time, and I'm just like, it still holds up. It's still good. Like,
and it tells with every generation they release something.
yeah. And it's cool to kind of see, like, if you watch the YouTube version, you've got Jordan Fisher playing Mark, and when he was young, who then he went on to do things like he was in Grease Live. He does, if you're like myself and my family, we're big Disney people. He did a song that's for the Castle show, Happily Ever After. Like, and he's doing even more like stage stuff. So he's growing. Vanessa Hudgens is in it. It's just the amount Rent. There's a reason why Rent went so long on Broadway, and why there were so many and there were revivals and touring shows. I mean, most Broadway shows now tour, but in different countries, and why major celebrities did guest runs in that show.
Who's the guy? I don't know his name, so you got to tell me his name. But he was Doogie Howser.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris has done concerts on Broadway where he sung Rent song. I think he played Mark for a little bit.
He was in there as Mark. It is great. If you can find it, find it. It is fantastic. It is fantastic. He fits Mark so well. It's weird though. Again, tangent, which will happen with musicals because I've seen so many and been in so many and heard so many. It's to see him play Mark, but then have also seen him play little Toby and Sweeney Todd. So very different. I mean, so just he was in the concert version of Sweeney Todd, which is still staged and everything. It's just not super elaborate with a major set. And he's supposed to be playing Toby, who is a little child, but you got grown up Neil Patrick Harris. It's just funny. It's just so funny.
He's a damn good singer too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I wish he would do more theater. I wish he would do more Broadway. I wish he would write a freaking musical. But yeah, Rent for me is just such a. I mean, it's for as heavy as it is, for as topical as it is. I think of Rent and it makes my heart warm. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it's just because with all the sadness and everything, at the end of the day, everything comes out to be okay.
Yeah. And
you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Let's not think about the fact that they still have AIDS and they're going to die here soon. But it's still, in the moment, everything's
we're
good.
Not going to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going
to living in I think at the end of the day, Rent's about living in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly how the movie ended, was on a great moment.
I love that it's very when you watch the show, Mark is literally giving you the date and the time as they're starting. So you forever it'll be okay, it's weird to say the word period piece is used a lot in the theater world. It's getting to that point now because of the time frame that it's set in, that it now is considered a period piece because it is it's been so much time that's gone by.
Think about that.
That's scary. Which is crazy because but yeah, it's such a. I literally want to, when we get off here, I'm going to go and I'm going to finish watching that YouTube one for the Fox live version. It was just too good. It was just too good. Well, Jax, to me, that's all I've really got to say about Rent. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, sir.
No. Well, I think what we're going to do, folks, again, this is something new for the channel. Hopefully y'all will continue the journey with this because it's going to be fun. It's not going to be as serious as this one is all the time. There's some I'm going to throw some crazy things at Jax which I don't know if he has for the one I'm going to throw at him next. I don't know if he even has a way he might just have to literally listen to the Broadway recording or see if he can find a video version of it on YouTube.
What you got?
For the next episode, I want you to watch Evil Dead the Musical. It is hilarious. I don't know if there's any
Broadway closing night. I might be able to watch it.
It's super campy. It's super funny. Like, there's literally a song that goes, "What the fuck was that? My sister has turned into a zombie. What the fuck was that?" Like, and if you see it live, there's a splatter zone. So if you're in the first couple of rows, like if they're bleeding or whatever, they literally turn to you and go, "Ugh," and you get stage blood.
Oh, this was an off-Broadway show.
Off Broadway. Like, yeah.
Back in 07.
Yes.
Okay. I found a hand cam of it. So I will be able to watch it.
Yeah. I must say, I don't know the staging and how that one is, but it's more about the story, and you take something as dark and serious, as Evil Dead is, but put it into the musical world, and there's a reason why there's things such as Carrie the musical, and it's crazy things like that. But I think what Jax and I are going to do is we're going to kind of bounce off. So next episode, and we'll do these probably like once a month. Like next time we'll talk about Evil Dead, and then he can pitch me one, and we'll talk about it that following month, and then vice versa. We'll bounce back and forth and everything. But I hope you guys come along for the journey. It's going to be fun. It's going to be weird to hear us two talk about musicals. I don't remember who it was, if it was Allison that I told, or Will, or somebody, and they're just like, "Oh, that's going to be funny." They were just like that. You two talking about musicals. Like,
two tattooed bearded guys talking about musicals.
Yeah.
You
All right, no. But like I said, there's going to be some. I almost threw another heavy one at you, but I'm like, we'll wait on that one. We'll have some fun for the next time. But next week or next month, people, Evil Dead the musical will come your way. So, well, folks, Jax, as always, let them know where they can find you and what you're doing.
I'm doing a lot these days. Follow me on youtube.com at Boyfriend Time Podcast. We drop a new reacts video tomorrow at 12. I introduced John to baby metal.
Oh my God.
Yes. So that is out there. If you want to know about all the shows and everything I'm on, follow me on Twitter at Jaxbo2020. Hit the link tree. You can find everything there.
Yes. Go follow Boyfriend Time. And also the Wolfpack podcast over at twitch.tv/Wolfpack Podcast, where Jax and I are the reigning and defending, what are we calling ourselves? Tribal Council.
We're the Tribal Council now.
On the Pick'ems, although this year already is not looking super good for me.
Probably me either.
Yeah, especially after King of the Ring. But that's a whole other story. Also follow DadHat Wrestling on all social media platforms. World Championship Wreckage. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. It's mostly wrestling, but we've got now one or two shows here that, as much as we all love wrestling, we have other things going on. So we're broadening and expanding upon that. But I'm excited to take this musical journey, and especially with my buddy Jax here. So next time, guys, we'll talk a little Evil Dead the musical. Talk to you guys later.